Attempted coup in Turkey. The prime minister accuses a faction within the military. They say they have taken power to restore democracy. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says those behind the attempted coup will pay a heavy price and has urged Turks to take to the streets in protest. We are continuing our coverage of the attempted coup in Turkey. The country's president and prime minister both blaming a group within the military. There is chaos, there is confusion across the country. There have been reports of gunfire in parts of Istanbul and loud explosions as well in the capital. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan appeared on television saying those responsible will pay a heavy price. Erdogan also called on Turks to take to the streets to protest the attempted coup. Now, there are conflicting reports about who exactly is in charge of the country right now. A faction of the military that is behind the coup, they say they have complete control. But presidential sources say the president and government are still in power. There are reports that a nationwide curfew is now in place and military jets were heard flying low over the capital, Ankara. Tanks partially closed down key bridges over the Bosphorus in Istanbul. State TV is now also apparently under the control of the army. That is what we know right now. Let's go live now to Zeyna Hoder. She is on the phone for us from Gaziantep. That is on the Turkey-Syria border. Zeyna, what are you seeing there? What's happening?
Well, the people have heeded Erdogan, the Turkish president's call to take to the streets and to abort the coup. Here in Gaziantep in southern Turkey, hundreds of cars making their way towards the airport. Some streets have been blocked by members of the military. Like you mentioned, the military is split. The president, as well as the prime minister, the government, saying that elements of the military are attempting the coup. But the government seems very confident in their statements that this coup will not succeed. President Erdogan, his whereabouts are not confirmed. He did say on telephone via FaceTime that he was in Istanbul and he's planning to go to Ankara, but he said that those behind this attempted coup will pay a heavy price, will not succeed, and he said that no power is stronger than the people. And in areas where the president and the ruling party, the AK party, has support, people have taken to the streets. There has been calls to prayers on loudspeakers from mosques, telling people to go to the streets as well. And it's not just the military is split, but even the opponents of the president who do not want to see a military coup, the nationalists, the CHP party, the main opposition groups, even the pro-Kurdish party, the HDP, which does not enjoy good relations with the AK party, saying they stand behind democracy. So confusing times. The developments have been moving at a very fast pace over the past few hours, but it is still not clear, like you mentioned, who is in charge.
Zeyna, if you can just stand by for just a moment, we're going to play some sound from President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. For a time, he was actually appearing on FaceTime, strictly on the internet. He eventually made his way to cameras, and he appeared on Turkish television asking supporters, as you said, to occupy the streets and the squares, vowing to hit back at those behind the coup. Here's what he said.
This insurrection against our national security, whether it comes from a group within the security forces, whether it comes from a group from another source, will be given the right necessary answer to them. There is no power above national will in this country. And as the Prime Minister, as the President of this country, parties, members of parties, and the people, I am inviting the people to squares, to streets, and we'll give them the lesson they need by doing so. This revolt by this group have been acted on, and a number of arrests warrants have been issued. This country is not a country that can be managed from Pennsylvania. We have 45 million voters who represent the national will of this country, and their will determines how this country is damaged. These tanks do not belong to them, they belong to the people, and we know how to stand in front of these tanks.
President Erdogan trying to convey a sense of strength there, telling the people to go out onto the streets. Our Zaina Hoder is on the phone for us in Gaziantep, where that is in fact happening. And Zaina, we have some new information to bring to our viewers. Turkey's state-run news agency is reporting that 17 police officers have been killed at the Ankara Special Forces headquarters. We have not independently confirmed that, but that is coming from the state-run news agency. What are you seeing there in Gaziantep, and as it comes from in the way of violence?
Well, there were sounds of gunfire a short while ago, but yes, you did mention that report in Ankara, 17 police officers killed. There was a very loud explosion. There have been reports of an F-16 shooting down a helicopter, which was controlled by members of the military who actually staged the coup. And this is the danger, the very fact that there is this split in the military at a very delicate time in Turkey's history, because this country is not only polarized, there's political tension, there's social tension, there have been almost monthly bombings, and this security vacuum, if you like, is quite dangerous. But the government, very confident, the president's advisor telling our sister channel, Al Jazeera Arabic, just a short while ago that the coup attempt has failed. So the government clearly confident that it has the people behind it. Even those who do not support Erdogan do not want to see a military takeover. I think it is safe to say that the majority of Turks do not want to see this. Military coups have happened in the past. It does not